Good evening. Thank you. I like it. Call and response. It is a pleasure to get to be here with all of you and to get to share this time and get to celebrate the work that's been done here and the work that is to come. And I can't say enough about how excited I have been that Skoll has played a small role in being a part of it. So our relationship with Ceres started in 2006, 17 years ago. So I want to just sort of ground you in 2006, right? To think back to what the world was like in 2006. And one way to do that is to think about popular culture. Right? So what was happening in 2006? The Da Vinci Code was one of the top grossing films in 2006. Carrie Underwood had just won American Idol the year before, and had just released her top-selling album, Some Hearts, in 2006. Who's from Chicago? Or who's here from Chicago? Anybody? We got a few. So the Chicago Bears played in the Super Bowl in 2006. That tells you how long ago that was. Two television shows premiered in 2006, 30 Rock and The Big Bang Theory, right? And for those who are celebrity gossip fans, Brangelina was a thing in 2006, right? They had their first child in 2006, Shiloh. So some of these things are still a thing, and some of these things have gone away by the wayside. But one of the constants, certainly for us, has been our relationship with Ceres from 2006 to the present. Yes, exactly. Starting in 2006, the Skoll Foundation awarded Mindy Luber the Skoll Award for Social Entrepreneurship. And with it, we started a long-term commitment and a long-term portion of our relationship of working on climate from multiple dimensions, where we have been active in funding preventing deforestation, right, and engaging with indigenous people and local communities and in the Amazon basin. We have been at the forefront of working with Ceres on changing corporate behavior and engaging the economy around this. And we're now talking about moving this into the future and thinking about the next frontiers of this work. But for us, it really points to the importance of long-term, multi-pronged commitment to this effort. And I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. So at the time when we started working with Mindy, there were 25 organizations in our portfolio. And today, that portfolio has grown to about 150 organizations that are focused on creating the transformational social change and building the world of peace and prosperity for all that we are committed to. And Mindy has become one of the central pillars in that community. When we bring new people into the community and we introduce them and we're connecting them with others, they inevitably find their way to Mindy, and she becomes a mentor, a beacon, right, like a representation of what's possible in this work with long-term commitment. And to think about what else has changed since 2006, think about the way we talk about climate, right, and the way we talk about climate risk. That climate action was new but powerful at that time, and now the financial imperatives have become clear, and the actions that have been demanded by investors and companies of all kinds have really changed the nature of how we engage on this and how we think about driving the future from here. At the center of this global sustainability work, there's the evidence of everything that all of you in this room have dedicated yourselves to all around us, right? There's more fronts than I can potentially stand up here and mention to all of you, but I'll just rattle off a few, right? There's cementing and reinforcing the SEC's disclosure rule, which Mindy referred to earlier from the stage. That alone is enough, but the list goes on from there, right? Bringing 1,400 organizations in front of policymakers to educate them in making these rules. in bringing together and assembling a network with trillions of dollars under management. The supplier climate resilience rule that's in the works, the early stages of that, and just getting going. The opportunity to cement ESG on the landscape, so much so that recruiters are now talking about chief sustainability officers as a demand vector for their focus on placing executives going forward, that they expect 56,000 chief sustainability officers by 2029, right? So you guys are, yeah. You're not only changing the climate field, you're creating employment opportunities, so there you go. And if you want to be creative, and maybe a little tongue-in-cheek, right, I would go so far as to argue that the degree of opposition and the backlash itself is indicative of your success, right? So, congratulations. You have what they call haters, right? There you go, got your own haters. But in all seriousness, when it's feeling hard, right? When it's feeling frustrating, when you feel like all you're hearing is the backlash, and I'm not going to say the words, I'm not going to say the W at all. I'm going to, everybody knows what that is. But I think it's important to put it into context, right? And to think about where that's coming from and what that's reflective of. And I did a little bit of reading and thinking about who I wanted to quote, and I decided that I would quote Gloria Steinem, who talked about this, right? That severe opposition is a measure of success, because one inevitable result of winning a majority change in consciousness is a backlash from those forces whose power depended on the old consciousness, right? So there you go. So we're here, right, to celebrate the remarkable, the sort of huge set of wins that I just rattled off, and that's really only the tip of the iceberg. But with all the remarkable progress that's been made, we also have to keep in mind that change is never etched in stone, right? Change is always changing. It requires continuous reinforcement. It requires ongoing commitment to staying in the fight and being a part of ensuring the continued existence of the sustainable future that we all seek. So our commitment in this instance, and I'll talk a little bit about what that looks like from our perspective, but there's tremendous opportunity in continuing to provide capital, right? And continuing to engage with businesses and innovators and building a broader, more diverse cohort of leaders in this space. This is not just making bold investments in green economies, but it's also sticking with them for the long term, right? And understanding that this work is the very definition of playing the long game, right? And that's what we've done, and that's what we will continue to do. Our partnership with Ceres is representative of the kind of committed support we really love to see, and we're looking forward to seeing more of the civil society and other foundations, the public sector, the capital markets, all coming together to continue to make the change that is already underway and continuing to cement and build on that change. We need more, right? We need to continue doing it. We believe this is one of the biggest opportunities that still lies ahead of us, and it is existential, right? If you are looking into the eyes of your child or your niece or your nephew or your neighbor and thinking about what future you are leaving for that person, this is that work, right? This is where those of us who manage and mobilize capital can have a bigger impact. Michaela mentioned some of the work that Skoll and Capricorn have been able to do together and the ways that we've been able to align our endowment to help drive these impactful outcomes well beyond the grant making that we do, right? We're a foundation, we're accustomed, right? It's our standard is to talk about organizations like Ceres that we've given grants to and given grants to repeatedly over the course of 17 years. But we are also in a position to talk about what we're doing with the other side of our balance sheet. And I would like to see us get more accustomed to talking about what we're doing with the other 95%, as Michaela mentioned. So an example of that is in partnership with Capricorn. We have moved our endowment to be carbon neutral. including going all the way to offsetting even the residual carbon footprint that comes with our indexed exposure, right? And that's on top of our portfolio is already an impact invested portfolio, and having made hundreds of millions of dollars of grants in the climate arena over the last 20 years. But we made these moves in order to utilize the full spectrum of capital that's available to us and all of the financial vehicles that are at our disposal, leveraging our whole balance sheet to do the most good that we can. We want to accelerate this. And so there are opportunities we have to keep showing up in that way. Another example I'll talk about is that I was just in Nairobi for Africa Climate Week. And it was so energizing to see the level of just like enthusiasm and commitment to this idea of green growth. And that the best evidence I can give is that we brought our climate team, and we also brought our economic inclusion team with us to Nairobi, right? That this is not just about climate, this is also about economics. I know I'm preaching to the converted, right? This is an audience that knows that well, but there was a lot of head scratching, right, when we made the decision on who we were gonna bring to this trip. But it's a reflection of the fact that the next front, we believe, in engaging on this, is looking at the intersection of climate and entrepreneurship in sub-Saharan Africa and in other growing and emerging markets as the next important front for both economic inclusion and climate change. We're excited to put multiple kinds of capital to work in that space. So these are the illustrations, right? This is indicative and demonstrative of where and how we as a foundation are in this fight with all of you. We know that this is not linear, right? This is not, this is an investing crowd, right? So you like things that go up and to the right, right? Like the nice straight lines. So this is not like that, right? There are setbacks, we lose ground, there are backlashes. And what we do is we look for those milestones, right? Those signals of progress, the things that point to the fact that it's working, even when it's not necessarily going in stair-step form. And that is what we use to keep ourselves from feeling discouraged, to keep ourselves from getting distracted, right? And to not cave in to that feeling of dismay, right? When it all starts to seem like it's a little too much or a little too hard, or that the voices on the other side are getting a little too much airtime. So that resistance, that commitment, that playing through the pain is part of the change, right? That's what creates the progress, and that's what we are here to continue to do. So I will say on behalf of the Skoll Foundation, it has been our honor to call Ceres our partner for the past 17 years. And if you want to know what long-term commitment is truly capable of, you don't need to look any further than what is happening in this room and what Mindy and Ceres have been able to do and what you've accomplished over the last 30 plus years together. So I will say for myself, I sleep a little bit better at night knowing that you all are out there doing what you're doing. We will continue doing what we can from the seat that we sit in. And I have every confidence that working together, we will continue to nudge this forward to drive the change in building the sustainable world we want to see. And I believe that all of what we want is possible. So thank you. And I will leave you with my two favorite words. Keep pushing. Keep pushing.